Hey guys, and welcome back to FutureSight. I'm Rata Joey.
And I'm Maxon.
And today we're going to be covering another deck from the Japanese Battle Carnival. This one's from Battle Carnival Tokyo, and it's Garchomp Altaria. So first we'll look at the main attacker for the deck, which is the Garchomp. It's a Stage 2 Dragon type with 140 hit points. It has 2 attacks. The first is Sonic Cutter, which for 1 fighting energy does 60 damage, and you can discard a special energy attached to the defending Pokemon. The next attack is Dragon Blade, which for water and fighting does 100 damage, but you have to discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Now, right away we can see the fact that your key attack here is going to be Sonic Cutter, just because it's 1 for 60, it's quick, it's effective, it's just there. You can easily get it out turn 2 without having to worry about specific energy attachments. The Dragon Blade itself, 2 for 100, it's not the best attack ever, just for discarding 2 cards off the top of your deck.
It's still good for energy. It's good energy.
The energy to damage ratio is pretty damn awesome, to be honest. I mean, people might look at it and think, well, fighting water, it's not the best combination, really. I mean, running 2 energy types. But with the release of this dragon, we are most likely going to get the blend energies, and fighting water, electric, metal is actually 1 energy now.
Yes.
And Max has gone silent there. I was hoping you'd have I just had the feeling you'd have something to pop in there.
It's rainbow without damage, or it's half rainbow.
Yes, it is half rainbow, and you went robot for a second there.
I can't see robot. But yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good. It has no resistance, and it's got 1 retreat cost, which is kind of nice. So it's easy to retreat.
It's as you're saying, it's nice and cheap to retreat. It's
40 is pretty good as well for HP.
100. Yeah, it beats the magic number of 130. It also shows that stage 2s can get a little bigger. I mean, as we covered last episode, Hydreigon has 150. This guy has 140. It's like stage 2s are slowly catching up to X's. They're never going to quite make it, but they're catching up slowly. The next part of this deck is actually we'll get onto the support for Garchomp before we actually go crazy with what the deck can do as a whole. And the second half of this deck is the Altaria from the same set. Altaria is a stage 1 with 70 hit points. It has 1 attack and the ability Battle Song. Battle Song is basically a plus 20 on any dragon's attack while Altaria is in play. So Garchomp's...
Oh, slow down. Is that plus 20 on your dragon's attack?
Your dragon type, your dragons do an extra 20 as long as it's in play. Which basically means that happy little Garchomp, it's now doing 1 for 60 and 2 for 120, which means... 1 for 80, 2 for 120. Max, correct me when I make these mistakes, please.
I assumed you were going to correct yourself.
I nearly didn't catch myself.
Yeah, well, I would have caught you.
Yay!
I did catch it, I was like, I'll let you drop.
Damn you. But anyway, it's basically, this good energy to damage ratio gets even better with just 1 Altaria in play. It's 1 for 80 or 2 for 60. And the 2 for 60 is basically becoming 2 for 120 is becoming 1 for 60 again. It's each energy attached is 60 damage again. And that's just with 1 Altaria. The standard deck list first does run a 3-3 line, so it's going to be very possible to get the 2 Altaria out. I mean, it might not be at aim, but it's very possible. If you do lose 1, you've still got a 3rd to go to. So you can essentially set these guys up easily. I think the major reason, though, that the deck is running 3-3 isn't to get more than 1 out, but it's to make sure that you can always keep just 1 out. Altaria only has 70 hit points. It's pretty damn fragile, even for
really?
a support Pokemon.
70? That would be 90 or something.
No, it's only 70, oddly enough. It's I think it's because of the Swablu that's underneath it only having 40 as well.
Right.
It's these guys are incredibly weak. It's they're going to get sniped off pretty much guaranteed. So the 3-3 line guarantees that just get 2 Swablu out. 1 becomes Altaria. Make sure you have a 2nd Swablu, so if Altaria gets killed, you've got a Swablu. If they go for Swablu, you still have the Altaria there, and you can just try and grab another Swablu somehow. So basically, if they stop the 2nd Altaria, you still got the 1st. If they get rid of the 1st, you can go for a 2nd. It really is fragile, and it's kind of, I'll be honest, right now, it's kind of breaking my heart to see this guy with only 70 hit points. you've got these like big stage 2 guys. It's like, oh hi, I'm catching up to the eggs. I can stand up to them. Hi. Very little is going to two-shot. Well, very little is going to one-shot Garchomp. And it's what's going to one-shot another dragon, another Garchomp perhaps. Rayquaza, with a plus power. Well, Rayquaza X with a plus power and discarding 1 energy.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be able to just stand in front of Garchomp and say, yeah, I rip you to shreds very easily. It's going to do the business. The Achilles heel of this deck is the Altaria. Luckily though, as I said, it seems quite situational what I was mentioning before, the whole here's a Swablu, get the Altaria. They either get rid of Swablu or they get rid of Altaria. If they get rid of Altaria, grab another Altaria. It does sound quite situational, but the Garchomp line itself helps that. Because the standard Gabite you're going to want to go for this deck is actually from the half deck that comes from the Dragon Blade set, which includes the Gabite that has the Dragon Call ability. Once per turn, you can use him to grab a dragon type from your deck. So it can be your next Garchomp, it can be a Gibble if you need it. It could be the Altaria if you need to replace one.
Is the Swablu normal dragon?
It's a normal type. It isn't it's one of the few Pokemon lines that it isn't a dragon type until it evolves.
Right.
It's a lot like Trapinch. Trapinch is a standard ground type until it evolves into Vibrava, which is going to be quite interesting with what they do in the follow-up set to this, because we've already seen that the following set, the Karam X sets, the Black 2, White 2 sets, sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me right now, just half fallen asleep here. Has shown that we're going to get the new Flygon. Now, what really gets me about that is, what will they do with Vibrava? Will they make Vibrava a Vibrava Dragon because it's half dragon? Or will they keep it so it's Vibrava and Trapinch are both ground type? I think it's going to be quite interesting to see what they do there.
Isn't Vibrava usually just the same type as Flygon, usually like a normal type? I
think they've mixed it up slightly. I mean, I think Flygon as a dragon is one of the few cards they've really mixed up when it came to its dragon typing. I mean, there's been times where it's been normal because it's dragon, other times it's been fighting because it's ground. It's one of the few cards where they really do turn around and say, oh, well, I'm one type, next set I'm going to be a different type. And I do like when they mix it up like that. What I don't like is what they used to do to Salamence. The fact that he was the only dragon that turned around and said, oh, by the way, my energy has to follow my colour scheme. I don't know where that came from. I mean, I do like how they decided to make that uniform for all the dragons. I mean, when it was just Salamence, it annoyed me. Now it's all dragons, I do like it. Don't get me wrong, it's still having to match silly energy types, but it's the fact that now it's all dragons that are doing it. It's not just this one. Because it's uniform, it's much more, I just find it more appealing.
Except for Rayquaza.
Rayquaza, actually yeah, he's another one that always went for it, but he normally also had acceleration for fire and electric. Also, he does actually have yellow and red in his colour scheme, just so he's mostly green.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, at least the yellow and red does stay with his shiny form as well.
Yeah, getting back on topic.
Yeah, back onto the Altaria Garchomp. Actually, though, there's one thing that I do love about this deck, and it's actually something that you wanted to, well, you actually pointed out when we both noticed that Black White Onwards doesn't have any basic search.
Oh, the not Pachirisu, the Emolga.
It runs your Emolga, the one you wanted for Ray Ryles. Well, it's a smaller version of the Pachirisu from Great Encounters. Instead of 3 basics.
Yeah.
But this guy has a nice little advantage of free retreat.
Yes, and he has a 1 for 20 attack.
1 for 20 attack that is compatible with this deck because it does actually have the blend energy for fighting water, electric, metal, or as the Japanese call it, torpedo. I don't know why we didn't just keep that. We had to give it letters. Yay. So wolf. Yeah, that's easy to say.
Yeah.
So it's running 3 of that. I can see the whole reason for it. It is just a case of get this guy out, so it's 2 basics. Even if something does manage to donk the 70 hit point basic, I'm assuming it's 70 hit point.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to double check. I don't want to be proven wrong.
It's on the same page.
Yeah, I just scrolled up to it. Yep, 70 hit point. Even if they do manage to one-shot the 70 hit point guy, you have 2 basics. It's not just one, it's two. You can do something with two. I mean, you could go for a second Emolga if you really wanted to. If you can see that the first Emolga's going, you can grab a basic and another Emolga. Next turn, grab two more basics. You can start setting up. I mean, if your basics goodbye, you can just go for the whole... No, sorry, if your basics Gibble, you can go for Gabite. Evolve up, grab another Gibble, place it down. You can guarantee a turn 2 Gibble, turn 2 Garchomp Gabite.
I think what the deck will probably do is guarantee the turn 3 Garchomp. Or probably, I imagine the first one where we search for an Altaria and a Gibble, and then next turn search for the
You mean a
Gabite.
Swablu Gibble?
Oh yeah, sorry. And then next turn search for the Gabite and the
Altaria.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying. It's kind of hard to say exactly how you would play the situation. Mostly just because, well, we've not actually playtested these decks, so...
I don't think anyone has yet.
We don't actually have the format. So, it's basically because we haven't playtested these decks, we don't know how we'd physically play them. You know, what's the go-to call for it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, do you have the same call each time, even if you have another basic out? Or will you actually use the call for family to react to what a setup your opponent might have? I mean, do you use it as a... Do you use it as a plan B call for family, or is it a plan A call for family, really? You know what I mean?
Assuming the number of level ball this deck runs and no ultra ball, I'm guessing it's going to be that. It's a plan A, because it's probably going to be that you search for your Gabites and Gibbles and stuff like that.
True.
And then use level ball and Gabite to search the rest of everything you need.
True. I mean, it is a great idea that the fact that you do have this one guy in deck that can turn around and say, yeah, search out pretty much... Let's see, what was 21 Pokemon in here, and there's a whole 6 it can't search out. So basically, it's search out 75% of my deck.
Which 6 can't it search? I know there's like 3 Pachirisu.
It's the 3 Swablu and the 3 Emolga, not Pachirisu. Yeah, it's like, 6 guys it can't, 6 guys it can't search out, 15 it can. It's pretty much 75% of your deck. It's just like, okay, well, I'm here, grab. So setting up with this is going to be, it mostly comes down to, do you get the starting Emolga? With 3, you do stand a good chance of it. You could possibly stand to put it up to 4, possibly, but it may be 3 just to stop dead drawing it mid to late game.
Yes. I think the other thing that's quite interesting is the Rayquaza the deck uses.
I'm not sure if that's like a major go-to card for it. I mean, I think it might be just, as you pointed out before recording this episode, it might just be for cheap prizes.
Well, because
it's
like Altaria, it becomes a 1 for 80.
1 for 60.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Because it's got a 40 base.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it is 1 for 60 on a basic. I'm guessing that's why it's there. But it's just like the way the deck's built, it's like you've got 4 energy it can use out of 11. You can't use its secondary attack because you have no fire energy in here.
Oh yeah.
The blend energy for fire is the opposite half of Rainbow. It's the opposite 4. I mean, you're running water instead of fire. I mean, that's because the water works with Garchomp. So really, you're stuck using just that first attack.
The other thing is that there's no
does mill your deck.
entire deck.
I do like that, the fact that it does do that. I'm guessing it's mostly just because it's such a prevalent X format. Sigilyph could be a very strong counter in that format. And Sigilyph isn't really going to hit Garchomp for too much damage. Just for the whole fact that Garchomp's going to be running off, 1-2 energy. If you've loaded your second attack, it's 2-shotting you. And if you've loaded your second attack, you're 1-shotting it. I mean, also another thing, there's one thing I really have to point out about this deck, it's like it doesn't run any plus power. Mostly because it doesn't need to.
No, I don't think the last deck we did didn't have any plus power either.
It did have the Dark... Oh no, it didn't actually run Dark Claw either, did it? No. Yeah, I'm thinking mostly because it's a case of Dark Rise versatility means that you don't really need plus powers. You just place the damage where it needs to go. That 30 snipe is effectively 3 plus powers for later in the game. But back onto this episode. Even though I'm the one who's done the most wandering in the last 2 episodes.
You're the one who does the most wandering any of the times.
It keeps things interesting. At least it's not bland and I'm just going to talk in a monotone about one thing and get it wrong. Yeah.
Well, as a deck, I'm not sure how strong it is. It seems to rely on a lot of evolution.
That might actually explain the build of its trainers and supporters. I mean, I'm looking at, let's see, that's 8 plus 6, that's 14 supporters in this deck that all say one thing, draw. You've got 3 Sharon, 3 Bianca, 4 N, and 4 Juniper. You are going to be drawing a lot of cards in this deck.
And I suppose the fact that your evolution line also searches for stuff.
True. I mean, you've got Level Ball that can search out how many cards? 4.
Well, it can search out Gabite, which searches out for your other guys.
7, 13. You're searching out 16 cards out of 21. There's 5 guys you can't grab. And out of those 5 guys, one of the 16 guys you can grab the other 5. It's like there's nothing really that stops this deck from searching out everything it needs when it needs to. I mean, it's like it doesn't run any kind of Ultra Ball. It doesn't run Heavy Ball because nothing's big enough for Heavy Ball. There's no dual ball in the format, is there?
No.
Dual ball. It went away. Dual ball.
And so I think Great Ball was in black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was reprinted in black and white. It's mostly grab stuff from top of deck, which, to be honest, would work early game. But you can't guarantee what you're grabbing there. Level Ball, guarantee what you grab. Gibble, guarantee what you grab. I mean, there's only one, as I said, Gibble can only not grab 6 cards.
I think
Level Ball grabs 16, including the 6 that can't be grabbed by Gabite. But Gabite can then grab anything that Level Ball can't grab. So it's like you do have everything in this deck covered. Basically, 6 cards for grabbing Pokemon, and you've got your entire line covered. It's like, okay then. Do we need anything else? No! And you're going to be drawing into a lot. I mean, for Juniper, that's 28 cards you can draw. N replenishes deck, and you can draw 6 early game, 1 or 2 late game, but mostly once you're set up, you don't need to worry about drawing a lot of cards. The 3 Sharon, that's an extra 3, and say you average 3 with Bianca as well, that's 9. You're drawing a lot of your deck pretty early.
That's true.
Also, the fact that this deck runs 4 Catcher, a lot like the Darkrai deck, which says to me that 4 Catcher is pretty much stable next format.
Possibly.
Unless you have another way to drag something out, or you're sniping heavily, 4 Catcher seems to be the go-to call right now. Well, in the black-white format.
Well, to be honest, it's just too good a card not to run, really.
But 4 Catcher just says one thing to me, and that's choose your prize.
It depends, really. In an X-heavy format, I can see this really not just two-shotting a lot of stuff, unless it's like support Pokemon.
You can easily do 1 for 80 or 2 for 120, so anything support, that's pretty much cleaned up. And if you drag out an X you can't one-shot, at least you're getting some residual damage there. They have to spend resources to heal it, or they retreat it, leave it damaged, and hope you don't get the next catcher. You get a second catcher, and it's Goodnight Irene. You can easily 2-shot X's in this deck.
That's true.
Quite a few X's 2-shot you as well. I mean, as you pointed out before, it's like 140 hit points. What really one-shots it? Other dragons, that's about it.
I'm probably sure there's probably some stuff that one-shots it. But the other dragons can easily one-shot it.
But it's like, well, you're on the mirror match there, really. And the mirror match is always really going to come down to, coin toss and who has the most skill, who can play the deck best.
Or gets the most luck.
Well, true, that's always a factor, but I do like to turn around and say that the major factor in any mirror match is the skill of the actual 2 players.
Other than the builds and the cards they pull and all that jazz.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, a better build's obviously going to win, but you're going to have to be a better player to have a better build, aren't you? I can't see a bad player having an amazing deck and a good player having a really bad build.
The only thing that this list I really just don't like about it is the fact that it relies a lot on evolution, and there's very little to any trainer lock or any aspect like that.
I do see where you're coming from there, especially with it being an X format.
And without I know it doesn't really need an energy acceleration, but it's it just seems to not be able to do a whole lot early game. It seems to have to wait until at least turn 2 or turn 3 until it actually can start doing stuff, on a good day.
If you're wearing green and fate decides to smile upon you when it's raining.
Well, it's with the deck from last week, that could probably potentially do stuff like turn 1 even.
Do you mean last episode?
Yes.
These 2 are getting uploaded the same week.
That's true.
Yeah, because I had to make up for lost episodes, and sorry guys, sorry.
Let's make up for lost ground.
Well, what can I say? Like Sonic says, we're too slow.
Gonna have to hurt you now.
Well, it's about time you heard me instead of me punching you for being stupid. No Zelda line? Okay. For the Zelda line.
Wait, what?
I thought he was going to say, excuse me, princess.
No.
By the way, you're excused.
But it's I think a deck level, it's got a lot of search and that's fine, but I just don't think it has other than it seems to be pretty. I don't want to say slow because it's got like a lot of search and stuff. But I just think its damage output for what it's trying to do is probably too low. What it's trying to do.
I can't see the damage output being too low. I mean, I think a better argument really for like what this does is most of the fact that it could seem too slow, but with the format it's in and no real big basic search, like X's aren't this dominating force that they are now. They're strong, they're powerful, but they don't dominate the format. Also, there is actually something like we've only really glanced over, and that's actually like the effect of Garchomp's first attack. The guaranteed discard of special energies.
Yeah, but the only special energies that are going to be in format are the Prism and the Blends.
And the Double Colorless, which is always going to be a pretty big card. It makes a lot of decks more playable.
To be honest, I think the Blend energy is probably going to be a bigger card next format.
It's going to be a more versatile energy. But you have to think it's a format where we still have Tornadus, we're still going to have Mewtwo, and those guys do love Double Colorless. I mean, in fact, if you look at the American meta, I can't see like Darkrai Tornadus leaving format. It is a very versatile deck. Mewtwo is going to be a very clutch card still in the upcoming formats, just because it is so splashable. So Double Colorless is still going to be there, and being able to just say, well, I'm going to attach one basic energy, I'm going to smack you for 60, and I'm going to take away one of your attachments. It does give you a bit more not versatility. What do I want to say? It gives you a bit of a stronger backing. You're holding them back. You are disrupting their setup slightly.
It would have to
you're
depend
not
on the deck,
breaking. You're not breaking their setup. Don't get me wrong. They can fight back, but it's the fact that you can hinder them. It's not the kind of train lock hindrance, but it's still putting them attachments down. Blend energy gone. Double Colorless gone. Prism energy gone. And as I've said for most of this format, since Crushing Hammer came out. Is it Crushing or Crashing?
Which one are you talking about?
The Special Energy Remover.
I think that's Crash Hammer.
Right, well, since Crashing Hammer came into the format, was given to us in scans, sorry. God, I don't know where my energy's gone. Since it's actually been given to us through scans, I've actually said the same thing over and over again. It's the fact that in this format where there's no special energy recover, discard pile is just as potent as remove from play. So losing loss remover, we get crash. We get Crash Hammer. We don't really lose that, do we?
Not really.
I mean, the format still stays pretty strong. You can still see the format's going to rely on special energy removal. Garchomp is just going to make that even more prevalent. He's going to basically say, well, that energy attachment gone. That energy attachment gone. If you can't supply all of your energy costs through basics, like if you're running something like, say, Mew X or like your Tornadus, you're going to want special energies. You're going to want your Prism, you're going to want your Double Colorless. Denying those energy attachments is going to hurt them. It's going to slow them down.
It depends. I mean, these two decks we've just reviewed, like, the only real special energy, the one is Blend Energy.
But still, like looking at the whole Darkrai argument, you get rid of those 4 Blend Energy. They can't play Siglith now. They can't use Shaman X. They've still got Darkrai, of course. It's still a powerful attacker.
Yeah, but those two, those part of the decks aren't really major parts. They can probably easily function without them. They're just there for convenience. True.
I will give it that. But it does take away the option of using Hydreigon as well. It's like they basically only have one attacker. Once you get rid of that one attacker, you get rid of that one key attacker, and they're on the back leg again.
Yeah, but considering the way the deck works, it's going to be hard to do that. I
know, you do have to rely on one-shots, I know.
It's it depends how much you need, or how much Mewtwo is used. I mean, as I say, in these two decks, again, there's no Mewtwo or anything like that.
I think that's more of a Japanese preference. I don't know why, but they always seem to go for this happy-go-lucky, fun deck type. I mean, you've seen it with the guys at Card Kingdom. Happy little plug for those guys. The fact that even though they're playing the serious games, they're playing Card Fight, they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, they never take it serious. It's never, I'm going to play this because it's an awesomely broken deck. It's like, I'm going to play this, and it's here comes key card, and everyone's like, oh, this is amazing, it's fun. It's like, that's a very different attitude to the English and American play style. It's like, as soon as you leave Japan, a lot of the, oh my god, this is fun, it gets drawn out of the game. and it becomes winning is fun. Don't get me wrong, people do play just for fun, just for the sake of, oh, Pokemon, this is amazing, yay! But a lot of the competitive scene is just win. That is my fun. So it is sad to see. It's kind of disheartening, actually.
Well, it depends on the outlook. I mean, if you're going to invest money into something, you really want to get your money's worth out of what you're trying to invest into.
True, I do think that's another big difference between here and Japan, and that's why they can enjoy it as much as they do. I mean, cards are a lot more affordable there. I mean, like the last episode, there were like 4 golden catchers in that deck. Here, that would be what, 160 quid? Over there, it's probably what, 160 yen, which is probably about 2 pence here. That's probably about a quid, to be honest. But you do see the point.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's a lot more affordable over there. Their pull ratios are a lot better.
Well, the same.
That's a totally different episode, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we've rambled enough for this episode.
Who's this we?
Okay, I've rambled enough. Leave me alone. I'm tired after work. I mean, we're up to 32:24 by the recording count. Probably
okay.
like 20 odd when I edit. Well, I guess we'll sign off for now. Until next time, I've been Rata Joey.
I'm still maxing.
Still, that's never going to change.
No.
If you like what you've heard, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay in the top percent.